Greetings, single men, it is I, Radium. Why did I say that? Anyways, today we're going to be continuing our death mode playthrough in Calamity, where we can only deal 1 damage to enemies. Or so we thought, because we managed to actually deal more than 1 damage with only using 1 damage weapons. Which was a fairly weird spectacle last time, but we managed to do so. And we also found some incredible weapons. Now, I'm doing this voiceover because I was incredibly ill when I was recording this, and I needed to get a video out, so that was my solution. Just recording, and, you know, I just basically had to, otherwise it'll be like 2 weeks till I got a video out. But so, I'm going to be doing some post-commentary up until about the Devourer of Gods, I think. And I even messed my microphone up after that because I'm an idiot and don't know how to use a microphone, after doing YouTube for about 2 years. But anyways, my strategy for this challenge straight away was rushing the Stormweaver. I don't actually know why I did this, I just knew it was a fight I could technically do. And after killing Moonlord, I went straight to the Underworld to farm the Unholy Essence from the new Profaned enemies. And that was basically to just craft a Rune of Cos. Fun fact, I was this close to finding an absolutely broken weapon, but I didn't quite hit upon it for a long time. So the Stormweaver itself was not that bad. One thing you may be noticing is that it's taking a lot of damage in terms of all of its body segments, and that is because the boss doesn't have an immunity to crush depth. Which means the original item that carried me through bosses like the Aquatic Scourge is still amazing here. However, it's going to fall off quite soon because, you know, with single hitbox enemies, we're not going to be dealing more than like 72 DPS to them, and that is not great. Especially with the ridiculous HP that a lot of these enemies have, like the Exomech, Supreme Calamitous, Yaren, the Devourer of Gods, even the Old Duke, potentially. All of those bosses are going to survive so easily, especially when they have immunities to the debuffs. And with the knowledge that my debuff strategy is coming to a close, I decided that I was going to have to double down on the armor penetration method. And that's why I've done this stupid method which I, you know, decided to go for, and never try this kind of method. My solution to these problems was so incredibly bad, and I'm sure there's a much better way about them, because I ended up doing some really stupid stuff for the sake of a tiny bit of progress. However, while I explained all of that, the Stormweaver is pretty much on its last legs now, so let's end this fight quickly. Again, not exactly a hard fight with this kind of setup, it was incredibly easy. And you may be noticing I'm using a weapon called the Disseminator. This is an upgrade to the Conclave Crossfire, it's pretty decent. And, you know, I don't really have too much to say about it, but it's a good weapon. And after killing that boss, I went straight to the dungeon and started carving out an arena for a slightly harder fight. Now, the method I was going for here was kind of unclear at this point, but I actually lost a lot of footage, which is always fun when you're recording a long video like this one. So obviously the plan is going for Poltergeist. I don't really know why I decided to do this so incredibly early, but I knew one thing that could be accessible via it, which is the Omega Blue armor and then the Reaper Tooth necklace from that. And that set provides, I think, 30 armor penetration, and paired with another Grand Shark Tooth necklace, that would be 40 armor penetration in total, meaning we'd be dealing so much damage. And the only drawback with this method, like, at all, is the fact that you don't regenerate life at all while you're doing this. Which is, you know, obviously a very major drawback, but one thing you can do is evaluate between armor sets. So you can have one regenerative set and then your Omega Blue armor, and they cancel each other out fairly well. So that was my logic for taking that path. Anyways, I believe it is about time for a ridiculously hard boss. And I'm going to have to explain my method because I lost about an hour and a half of footage regarding preparations. But quite simply, I wanted to optimize my damage beyond belief. The first thing you'll notice is that I'm using absolutely 0 summons as far as I understand. That is quite simply because this method out-taxes that kind of damage significantly, and this entire strategy revolves around manipulating Plantera's AI and statistics. One thing I did not know about Poltergeist is that the boss's defense actually decreases as the fight progresses, so when you spawn it'll have the highest possible defense the boss will have throughout the fight. Once it lets go of its arms for the first time, then it will have slightly lower defense, and once it activates its clone, it will have the lowest possible defense, which is around 50, I think. As of such, you can deal a fair amount of damage to the boss even with 1 damage weapons. Everything does do 1 damage here, the ammunition, the weapon, everything. But because we have about 40 armor penetration at this stage, we're pretty strong, but that's not where our list of strategy ends. I tried using the Betsy's Wrath for a little bit, which, you know, it did work and it was actually fairly decent for damage, but it just wasn't consistent enough at getting rid of the smaller enemies the boss summons, which are a major part of the fight. So you'll notice the boss can actually summon the phantoms, or whatever they're called. You know, the enemies that drop phantoplasm, which is incredibly annoying. But one thing that's really good about this fight is that this weapon, the Disseminator, allows you to pretty much kill them without having to target them very quickly, because they have low defense and they die very quickly to the weapon. And that's where the final part of this plan comes into fruition, the Deific Thunderbolt. Now this can be substituted with any rogue weapon really, it's not really compulsory either. But what it does is it allows you to pair it with the Shattering Potions or Crumbling Potions. And this is a debuff you can apply to bosses which breaks enemy armor. Now this allows me to amplify my DPS even further as it cuts the defense of the enemies in half as far as I understand. And that pretty much amplifies my ability to deal damage via the armor penetration method. And we end up doing so much damage here. Like, we're pretty much leaving single digit numbers most of the time, which is neat. You know, a lot of crits, a lot of damage, and the crystal bullets were additionally the best course of action for this fight. I'm sure Chlorophyte would have been better, but my computer literally could not run that many projectiles, especially when they're Chlorophyte bullets as such. And that's pretty much most of this fight, to be fair. I'm going to let the fight finish itself because it is quite an interesting bout. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. And there we go, that is Poltergeist defeated with a ridiculously underprepared loadout with 1 damage. And I was very nervous I wasn't recording this, so I quickly worked that up. But now we have access to Ruinous Souls, and additionally the Abyss is stirring. After crafting up the Abyssal Diving Suit, which was, you know, necessary for farming Reaper Sharks, I had to kill the thing, which was actually not too bad. Like, it does a lot of damage, but it's not very quick. And even when the enemy starts dashing, it's pretty manageable. And this shows you how strong the Deific Thunderbolt actually is. You'll notice that the 3s and 6s and 8s turn into 8s, 16s and 24s. And that's just because of the broken armor debuff. Now the only issue of this loadout I was noticing at the time was that this was lagging my computer a lot. Like, I have an RTX 3060 Ti I believe, and it was not having fun running this number of projectiles, which is, you know, slightly surprising, but I guess I am firing about 250 Luminite bullets every second, and when the crystal bullets come in as well, it gets slightly more laggy. But my god, Chlorophyte bullets are even worse. I think it even crashed my game at some point. Sadly, I was very quickly realizing how limited my options were in this challenge, and basically it came down to having a fast enough weapon that could deal a lot of damage. But I had a couple more potential options I thought I could rely on, and none of them really came to anything. At least the weapons I had planned out, if that makes sense. However, as the first Reaper Shark fell, I knew I was in for quite a long grind, as the first kill only yielded me enough for about 1 piece of armor, if that. However, this was still progress towards what could potentially be our saving grace or a ridiculous challenge, and also this weapon looked incredibly trippy, oh my god. Anyways, after about 45 minutes of grinding for this, I had the full Omega Blue armor, and I additionally had the facilities to make something even stronger, being the Reaper Tooth Necklace. In truth, I'm kind of annoyed at myself that I didn't do this challenge before the Draydon update, because if I remember correctly, the Reaper Tooth stuff had ridiculous armor penetration before, like it might have been about 200 if you used everything combined. And now it's only 30, but, you know, it's still a very good set, definitely our best option for the time being. And until we can deal more than 1 damage without it, we're going to have to put up with the 0 life regeneration, which is obviously quite hard considering I'm really good at preparing. But I'll just show a clip of Poltergeist up on screen. You'll see how much stronger I am with the armor. Even if the fight's really difficult, like, I'm just doing so much damage. And yes, I know it is laggy, I'm very sorry about the constant lag with this. I promise there is going to be a solution weapon soon. While I was preparing an arena for the Profane Guardian, since I'd kind of skipped that phase out, they actually naturally spawned, so I decided to kill them as they spawned, which was kind of risky, but I just about did it. Now obviously I'm using the arena platform builder just to hollow out hell because it's a really boring grind otherwise, and I just want to get to the meat of this challenge quite quickly rather than dragging it out for another 45 minutes. But yeah, they were easy. Now you're also noticing something I found, which kind of allows the Omega Blue to be really good, that being the Vampire Knives. Now obviously most healing effects from armors like Spectre or weapons like Vampire Knives are reduced in Death Mode and Revengeance. But these were still incredibly good, and what made it even better was the fact that I didn't even have to farm for them. We actually got a Crimson Key when we fought the Wall of Flesh for the first time. And even though it's not much in comparison to my natural life regeneration, or in terms of what it would be otherwise, the Vampire Knives are still a nice touch. They allow me to recuperate health without having to switch to another armor set, and although I don't end up using it too much, you know, it's still pretty decent. And what's even funnier is the fact that Providence was actually almost easier than the Profane Guardians. For some reason Providence took so much damage from my weapon, it was actually kind of funny. And you'll notice here I'm dealing about 10,000 DPS with the Omega Blue armor attached, and that's without the tentacles attacking, which is also a very unique factor of the armor. The set bonus of the entire set gives you a really cool advantage that makes the fight even easier. That being, of course, the ability to activate your tentacles, and they deal so much damage. Like, I think if I let the tentacles just do their thing, you would probably do like double or maybe even triple the damage. But I decided not to use it too much, since obviously that requires you to get close to the enemies, and I'd rather keep my distance regarding the fact that I can't regenerate life passively. But hey, at least there are workarounds regarding the buff, because it could be like the Annihilation Potion from more potions, which pretty much stops you from regenerating at all, so if you take damage you just never heal that HP back. Anyway, at this stage, because I have post-Poltergeist loot and I'm pretty much killing the beginnings of post-Moonlord gameplay, these fights are incredibly easy, as long as I'm not being an idiot with Providence. Which could have almost happened because, you know, I am using a bundle of balloons against this boss, but, you know, it's okay. And believe me when I say this challenge hasn't even begun getting ridiculous yet. It is about to get absolutely insane, because of an anomalous discovery I made regarding one of the Servants of the Scourge, let's say. And in terms of upgrades, the Elysian Aegis is really nice. I'll also kill Providence on the surface once, so I can get the Elysian Wings. They're going to be my choice for Yaren, potentially, because I'm too lazy to go for Elysian Tracers. Oh, and if you thought that was a joke, just wait till you see Cygnus, it's actually funny. The boss died in like a minute and didn't really do anything, and this was with Omega Blue. And I just wasn't stressed at all. This is one of those fights I feel like is a really good fighting Calamity, but it's just not hard at all, and that kind of shows that it doesn't need to be difficult to be fun. It's just a well-made fight that interests me. I'm kind of annoyed that there aren't more like endgame DOT options, at least that I knew, because I had to resort to the armor penetration lots, and sadly that was my only real method of dealing damage loss at the time. I'm sure I am just being dumb and there are definitely like other solutions in the game. But for the time being I'm a little bit stumped. Which is why later on in the video you'll see me resort to something kind of unconventional. But it works, so yeah. Anyways, with the Devourer of Gods coming up, I was actually kind of nervous at this point because, like, I'm not using the Disseminator to kill the Devourer of Gods. The amount of lag will literally kill me. But I just had to find a little solution. It wasn't going to be too difficult, or so I thought, and so I kept progressing. And then before I knew it, it was time to fight the Ceaseless Void, the final sentinel before I had to go straight to the Devourer of Gods. Which was really scary at the time. I had absolutely no idea what weapon would be good for it. And at this stage I was just lagging out my game all the time because of how stupid this method was. And yeah, I was genuinely nervous that this run was going to get very hard around the Devourer of Gods. But the Ceaseless Void kind of opened my eyes after fighting it to something relatively strong. And I'm very happy that I found it, especially considering I found it on accident and I was never going to get the weapon otherwise. This is another fight that's grown on me now I've done it in death mode, by the way. I've said how much I've hated the Malice mode version of this fight, but I think it's really goddamn cool, especially in death mode where everything's fast, but like, the boss doesn't stick to you and there's no BS with it. It's just a fun, decent, well-made fight, and I can appreciate it for what it is. Apart from that final phase, for some reason I always get overwhelmed with it and I just die stupidly. But yeah, I like how it doesn't move too fast. You can't cheese it because it will catch up to you, but like, it's not languid like it is in Malice mode, if that makes sense. There's no BS. Oh, fun fact while I'm here, I was literally sneezing and dying throughout recording the entire time. Like, about a day ago, for some reason my cold, which I've had for ages, just got incredibly bad. And I was literally having a stroke for like 8 hours straight, just sneezing and screaming. It was not fun. But Calamity, you know, the saviour that it is, absolutely saved me. That made no sense, but it's okay. So just remember this, if you're ever on the cusps of death from a severe cold that almost has you by your throat, play Terraria. I should never be allowed near kids. Wait, what does that have to do with anything? Anyways, I died to the Devourer of Gods a couple times, actually. And I was starting to think that this fight may be impossible, until... Yep. The Mirror Blade. Okay, let me explain something. This weapon is OP in a way that doesn't make sense yet. Because it still just does 1 damage, right? See, it's not really doing much, it's nothing too special. But, what if I told you there's a way to make this the absolute best weapon for this challenge period? A way that almost breaks this weapon entirely. And you just saw it. We just took the Devourer of God's damage, and we made it our own. Now, this weapon caps at 750 damage, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, this must be one of the best weapons Calamity has to offer now. And you'll notice how much damage I did in that short time frame. Now, I was skeptical on whether or not I should let myself use this because it's just insane. This method is so incredibly strong, I just didn't know what to think initially. But after a while, I thought of it like this. My weapon deals 1 damage, but it is borrowing the damage of the enemy. And every time I get hit by a lesser attack, such as if a green slime hits me, for example, it will take the damage from that green slime rather than, like, if I'm fighting a boss. So that means the weapon is very uncontrollable and inconsistent, even though it looks very strong for a fight like this. So I'm going to be allowing it for this challenge, against my previous judgment of it being really overpowered. Mind you, it is very, very good, it's just not broken as such. And with that power, I absolutely melted the Devourer of Gods. And I mean melted, it was ridiculous. This was undeniably the luckiest discovery I could possibly have for a challenge like this. I'm dealing like 90,000 DPS, and I'm defeating the Devourer of Gods with a bundle of balloons. That's how ridiculous this became. And again, I am sorry if you don't like me using a weapon like this. I do acknowledge the fact that this is ludicrously overpowered. But it's just fun, isn't it? It's just a cool weapon, very fun to use, very interesting for sure. And it's the coolest thing I've done for this challenge so far, I feel. And there we have it. The Devourer of Gods is dead. Wow. I was not expecting that. With the power of a single item, this challenge just went from very grind intensive and borderline impossible to pretty much trivial, and that's where my live commentary ends. Slightly ill regular radium, please take it from here. Okay, in truth I'm still a little bit ill, so it's gonna be a tiny bit hard recording, but I just wanna talk, man. Like, if I don't, it's not gonna be a great video, as I've done pretty much most of the game already, right? In truth, I am suspicious on whether or not the Mirror Blade is a valid weapon, but hear me out. The rule is that all weapons deal 1 damage, and the weapon still had a base damage of 1, it's just the Devourer of Gods has a head, like, attacking power of something significantly higher. I got 750 on my first try, and... okay, it's not working this time for some reason. Okay, let's see what that does. Let's see how much damage that gives us. 750, okay, so that's a set number by the looks of it. So this gives us a 750 damage weapon. And I don't know whether that's fair or not, because it overrides the 1 damage rule, but at the same time... oh, I just don't know. You know what, in the spirit of keeping this challenge fun, I'm going to allow it. That's probably going to be a bad idea, but I don't care. And let's see if this even destroys the boss. I don't know how strong this thing actually is, and... okay, 25k DPS, that's like a post-Yaren weapon, so... yeah. I mean, that's it. Ooh. Okay, well, maybe this is slightly overpowered, but who really cares? Like, apart from the one person watching this who is genuinely offended by watching me use Lawai AFK and stuff, then, yeah, we should be alright. And there we go, I think. Yeah, nice. Alright, we get 3 treasure bags, so we're pretty much guaranteed to get the resources required for this. And now let's make the jungle dragon egg. Yay, this is gonna go good. Oh, that's so annoying. Nice, okay, there we go. That was probably harder than it needed to be because I'm an idiot and haven't upgraded my stuff since Providence. And I didn't use one of my accessory slots, but we did it. Even though the fight can be kind of BS sometimes, Yorin is my fight, if that makes sense. It's like the best fight in the mod for me, in terms of how good I am at it. And additionally, we have stupid bloody goblins who haven't left for like 5 days. Please just go. You're not wanted. Anyways, Yorin treasure bags. Yay! What are we gonna get from this? I think I'm gonna take Drew's wings over the Elysian wings and just skip on the Celestial Traces, because I normally do that anyways. Attaco? What's this? Oh, that's pretty cool. So, we have the XMX and SCAL left. That's interesting. What do I want to do for both of them? Now, I'm gonna be real with all of you. I've killed Supreme Calamitous more times than I've spoken to women in my life. And I didn't really feel like doing this fight because, you know, it's just boring. It's the exact same fight. And especially considering by this point in the playthrough I was very burnt out because of how demanding this playthrough's been. So, just in the nick of time, a certain YouTuber managed to connect and reach out to me. And they said they had some ideas for this playthrough and what I could do for Supreme Calamitous to make it trivial. Now, this creator goes by the name Mr. JFL. They've created some really impressive cheese-type videos, I guess you could call them, where they've done videos regarding Calamity and manipulating bosses to do some absolutely ridiculous things. And I just want to say before this video continues, please check them out. If you like my content, you'll definitely like theirs. It's Terraria-based, so, I mean, that meets about the criteria. But not only that, they do make some really cool stuff. I was genuinely blown away by one of their videos regarding the XOMX. I have no idea how you do something like that. And I asked if they wanted to hop in a call, and I managed to talk to them for a while regarding opinions on stuff. So, yeah, enjoy.
Damage from there.
Exactly, exactly. but at the same time it carries over after you die once, which is interesting, but the next thing you get hit by... So I made this point in my video, if I were to get hit by, like, a green slime, the damage would be drastically reduced, or if I got hit by a projectile that didn't do as much damage as the 750 cap, then it would be significantly weaker. But I'm pretty sure with the speed this thing attacks, this is going to be, like, my best weapon for the rest of the game, right?
Probably. I sent you the diagram on the, in our DMs. Right?
Yeah.
And so, again, what you're going to be doing is just creating a large diamond, and then placing minecart tracks around that large diamond. Make sure you leave 2 blocks on the sides whenever you go from up to down.
Okay.
As otherwise you'll be derailed because you'll run over the bumper.
I see.
Yeah, other than that, it's just a large diamond, and then the only thing that you need to concern from there is actually starting the fight and getting the right place for that.
Okay. Would this be a decent enough place to start, or... I don't mind if it runs into my... I don't mind if it runs. I'm never using it again, so...
Well, then wherever works, really.
Okay.
Just dig down diagonal in either direction.
Oh, okay. Dig down. Okay, maybe in retrospect sand wasn't the best place to start. God fucking damn it. I'm happy that there's a solution to this, because I was worried that I was just gonna spend 50 minutes fighting Supreme Calamitus, like, fully concentrated for that time, which would not be fun.
I mean, you could do that too if you really wanted to. Like, let's see, my fight was 26 minutes long, and, like, 15 minutes of that were on the minecart, so...
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back in an hour, and I'm gonna see that the loop just has, like, 5 different locations and just random spots where you just completely butchered it.
Oh, why is that? Oh, it's gonna happen, god damn it. No.
Yeah, it terrifies me too. I've gotten, like... If I can go, like, on a mini rant here...
Oh, of course, of course.
Like, the last minutes I have here.
Go on, lad, go on.
So, every now and then, I get, like, comments on videos that are like, okay, now do it in Malice, or like, okay, now do, Eternity mode, plus this, plus that, plus that, like, all of the difficulties that exist in Terraria, in the modded community, all at once, right? And, you know, sometimes people say these things, and immediately it feels like it's undermining, like, accomplishment.
Yes.
Right, and the same thing goes for, like, no-hits. I see it more often in no-hits than anything. But it's like, people think they, like, know better or know more, and they, like, question either no-hits, or they try to suggest, like, you know, doing something harder because objectively it's just, like, more difficult because they think that people that have done something amazing can do better. It's like, can you not just be content with what people have done as an accomplishment? This
man just spent 30 hours trying to no-hit this boss, and you're like, okay, do it, but harder. Like, just appreciate his time and effort, or their time and effort for whatever they're trying to do.
Exactly. Like, sometimes it just bothers me to see that, and that's not even the worst part, because on some of the, like, more recent things, especially with the Malice no-hits coming out from Cactus and Bewarium, those videos have so many people who are, like, questioning certain moments in their no-hit videos, who, by the way, were reviewed by judges who know more than you about the game.
It's just...
It bothers me a bit to see people question that, because they don't fully understand.
Yes. Mate, don't worry, I've been in this community, with the no-hitting and comments and complaints and so much for, like, over a year now. Ever since I did my first, like, really hard playthrough of Death Mode Armageddon. Constant accusations. I didn't use the files, so I got penalized for it. I got accused of cheating because I used, like, quality of life mods and shit, and the difference was, I wasn't even trying to claim that this was, like... You know how in Calamity you can get into, like, a no-hitter server if you do it? I was just doing it for fun, I wasn't doing it for that, and they were like, this is invalid. I don't give a shit. Please, just let me enjoy the game.
Right?
Sorry, this has stepped on one of my veins. I wanted to talk about this too.
Yeah, and unfortunately I can't stick around to cover more on this hot topic.
It's all good, it's all good.
But I got education to attend.
Exactly, go get educated on how to no-hit more bosses and then do it in a harder difficulty because the community sucks nuts. I'm sorry. Oh god, but genuinely it's been lovely talking to you, mate, and thank you for the help.
Yeah, I'll come back a little later.
Oh, perfect. Right, in a bit. Well, that was enlightening. So, what you've all learned there is... And that was without me trying to script anything. Be respectful to people, just... Please. This was an unarranged event. Mr. JFL decided to join. Like, well, he didn't decide to, but he asked if he could show me some stuff, and I invited him to actually appear in the video. And he has the same opinions as me, so please just respect people's efforts in this community. It's one of the most demotivating things to do a playthrough and just get penalized for it. It's just, like, again, we're creators, we provide for you. But that doesn't mean that you need to, like, I guess degrade us in a sense. People want to try new things, people want to do things, people want to experiment. It's just... Let people try what they want to, and if you don't enjoy it, you don't have to watch them. Just keep your mouth shut. So, I believe I've got some footage of me and Mr. JFL doing some stuff. Quite simply, we have this big-ass minecart system in this world. But we still haven't defeated, like, many events, so we need to go over and do those now. But before any of that, I believe... Well, actually, no, never mind. We just need to go straight into these events, and I filled up a couple of chests with some pretty cool materials. So firstly, we have the miracle fruit. Oh wait, never mind, I've got the live fruits to eat first, and then we can use this. Quite simply, this run is already hard enough, so I might as well give myself this advantage. And just consume all of these, and we're up to this health. And to make any more progress, we're going to need to do these 3 events. So the solar eclipse, the pumpkin moon, and the frost moon. What you're supposed to do is fight them after you defeat the Devourer of Gods, but we kind of skipped that phase, so it's okay. And this thing should absolutely annihilate most of these enemies, so if I just run through them, then we should win this fairly easily. Nice, look at that. Beautiful. Like, the Mirror Blade is for sure one of the best weapons for this challenge, and I'm very happy it's here. I just didn't want to have to do boring stuff and just wait like 4 hours to do bosses, and, you know, this just allows us to have a pretty normal weapon. Maybe considered unfair to some people, but I do not care at this point. Let's just get this playthrough over and done with, right? Oh my god, look at that damage. Jesus Christ. That's so much damage. Look at that! Boom! And 50 endothermic energy from the Ice Queens. So that's our best way of grinding them, I think. Okay, I think that'll do for that. Let's end the event, and let's go for the Pumpkin Moon. Yeah, this is very, very good. I'm happy with this. And as for pumpkins, yeah, they don't exactly live long either. Damn. Okay, well, this weapon continues to amaze me. And 40 nightmare fuel. Okay, that's still not bad. And there we go. I think that'll do for now because we've got slightly more of those than we do anything else. And now we'll start the solar eclipse and go for some more fronts. And wow. That's some damage. And 74 fragments. Okay, this is actually going to be the easiest one. Okay, that'll do for now. 300 Dark Sun fragments sounds pretty meaty, so... What now? Oh wow, I could have actually made the Cosmic Amble really easily. Oh, that's kind of dumb of me. Okay, so the first investment we need to make is Tarragon Armor. Quite simply, this is the easiest thing to make, and... I think I'm going to be going for... Wait, I might go for a melee build. Because it's the most defense, and that's all that really matters. Yeah, screw it. I want to go for a tanking method for Supreme Calamitous and the XMX. So, let's go melee. Alright, next up, we're going to make the Dark Sun Ring. This is just an absolutely incredible accessory. Like, look at those bonuses. And then Status's Void Stash is also another very strong item we're going to make. It's just an upgrade from the Ninja Belt, basically. So, obviously, I'm going to want it. And now we're going to craft up a bunch of Ascendant Spirit Essences. I think that's what it's called. Yep. And that allows us to make more stuff, including the Godslayer armor. Obviously another integral part to another big upgrade. Oh, and the Asgardian Aegis, which I might as well make now. God, this is so unorganized. Okay, now I can make the Frigid Bulwark, and that'll go into the... I think Rampart of Deities? Yep. Alright, there's the boots. That's the first thing we've got. Then that's the chest plate. And last but not least, the headpiece. And now we have the full Auric Tesla armor. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this armor is really, really good, even after the nerfs. Oh, I also need to make the Eye of Extinction now, if that's possible. Or do I need Draydon's Forge for that? Oh, I forget, there's a unique way of summoning, Calamitous now, right? Yeah. Oh, there's one more thing I need to do, actually, and that's summon the Pumpkin Moon and farm for an item, which is kind of rare for me. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to kill these pumpkins, and let's see if he drops it. Yes, alright, he dropped it, we're done. Yep, we need the Raven Staff, because I want to make the Corvid Harbinger. And there we go, we've got it. So, this summon is good. I don't know how good it's going to be, truthfully, but, like, it has a pretty significant advantage over most other summons for me. Okay, something we very quickly need to do is kill Arstromorius, actually. Kind of random, I know, but trust me, there's a good reason for it. I hate how it's still taken me, like, an hour and a half to kit up for Supreme Calamitous. That's always something that annoys me in Calamity. Alright, come on, hit me so I can get this damage going. There we go. Look at that, beautiful. And we win. Hey, we got it. Okay, there it is, there it is. Pick it up and run. That's all I want. Goodbye. Okay, then we need this free life alloy for something. Actually, no, I'll just take the big supply in here. God, I'm so disorganized. But then we have the Startainted Generator, and I'm pretty sure we're close to being able to make the Nucleogenesis? Is that what it's called? Oh, I need Status's Curse to make it. Okay, that makes sense. So, Nucleogenesis, there we go. So, this allows enemies, or these minions basically, to apply a bunch of different debuffs. And that makes them really, really good. So, I reckon it's about time for Calamitous. Alright guys, I believe we are on the final stretch of this fight. I do not know how to feel about this. I am kind of annoyed I couldn't do the full AFK version because Calamity's brothers killed me. But, like, that's okay, I guess, because this strat is still very, very good, and, like, I know it's probably the worst attempt I could have done, because it doesn't rely on skill, it doesn't rely on some cool method that autos the boss. It's just like a semi-AFK fight that's kind of boring. But, it's still kind of cool to see, and again, this is not my area of expertise by any means. So, as said, please check out Mr. JFL's, if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, I guess. Where he kind of dissects the game, whereas I just rush through it. He does, like, longer, well-thought-out playthroughs. And, honestly, I very much preferred that style of content myself, so feel free to check him out. And while this is rolling, how am I gonna kill the Exomex? Oh, goodness, that's gonna be a fight, isn't it? Because the Mirror Blade's starting to fall off, like, it's not that strong here. Alright, screw it, this may be a bad idea. I'm gonna go into the arena and try and finish the fight early, please. Thank you. Okay. I just didn't want to waste that much time, but there we go. That is done. So, please... Oh wait, you don't even kill Supreme Calamitous anymore. You just... Well, she kind of sits there. And then she becomes an NPC. Boom. Okay. Well, that's one of the 2 final bosses. And... That's Supreme Catastrophe. Okay, that's kind of cool. Treasure Coffer, and then... I don't even know what that is. Levi. Nice. You only get 1 treasure coffer, which is kind of sad. I guess it spawns in rather than being dropped from enemies itself, so that kind of makes sense. Okay, let's open it up and see what we get. The Sacrifice. Ooh, that's pretty cool looking. The Violence, my absolute favourite weapon, but it's not going to be good here. Because, well, obviously it does 1 damage. Oh, and by the way, I'm not going to be building an Exomech arena, I'm just going to be using the one I used for my Malice playthrough. Just because building the arena is the most annoying part of the entire fight, so... You know what, let's just get into it. Looking back on it, this fight is honestly not bad, it's just kind of stressful at times. And this is going to make it so much harder, but I'm all for it now. Wow, we actually did it. I was not expecting to beat it that early, because that only took me a couple of tries actually. 3 kills in fact, so 3 deaths to the fight, and we managed to do it. I'm not a fan of this song personally in comparison to the other one, but there we go. Wow. And I don't really know how to feel about that conclusion, since it was really messy with Supreme Calamities. But at least we had a good Draydon fight to accompany it, right? That's going to end this playthrough. Sorry if this is not the finale you wanted. And if you're worried about it being overpowered or whatnot, I'm sorry, I don't really know how to tell you at this stage, but I hope those who stuck around for the entirety of it enjoyed the playthrough, so thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I will see all of you in the next one. Peace out, guys.